All right, show me how hyped you are.
I'm hyped. Yo, I'm hyped.
Let me see it. Let me feel it. Come on, show me that you're
E3
hyped.
was so great this year. I couldn't believe it. Games everywhere. I was
All
so
video
excited.
games. Unbelievable.
So much games. I mean, because I'm looking at this list and I'm like, I'm trying to pick out one game. I'm like,
all right.
Shit. Let's go.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Steve. I'm with the co-host Sterl, and we are the 8-bit generation, and you're listening to the 8BGCast.
Happy Pride Month.
Yes. If you guys are new, or just maybe just kind of like follow us and don't really do anything, like us, subscribe, and leave a comment. We love to interact with our fans. I love the comments that we've been getting lately on some of the videos. So anything you guys want to talk about? Or
don't like us. I don't care.
Yeah. If you don't like us, you don't like us.
You gotta edit that out? No, I'm just playing. We want more people to like us.
Yes.
But I mean, it's fine not to like us.
Of course. Definitely.
But tell us why. That's the big thing.
Yes. Leave a comment and tell us why. Subscribe and tell us why you don't like us.
Don't say I'm unprofessional. I know that already.
Yeah, we're professional. We're professionally unprofessional. Okay. That's our mantra.
E3.
But guys, like Sterl said, we're talking about E3. E3 was the big thing this month, and I think E3 was canceled last year, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was canceled last year. I think of course, because of the pandemic. But this year it came back as an online only event, and each day there was full of games. And personally, I'm just gonna say this out, off the bat. I think definitely Nintendo had the best E3 presence of all the companies, but there were a lot of games that I look forward to and I was excited to see. But I definitely feel Nintendo brought it this year. How about you, Sterl?
Every other thing was so bad that Nintendo almost by default just wins. You know what though? Microsoft's wasn't bad.
Yeah,
I mean, because during Microsoft's, I saw lots of games that I was like, okay, they got some exclusives. The only issue is that some of the games they showed, it said shit like coming 2022. No, not 2022. I saw some. I felt like one of them said like 2023. I felt like it was. What was Starfield?
Starfield was the Bethesda game, and I think that's coming. Yeah, that's gonna be Xbox exclusive.
And I think that's a 2023 or something like that.
And I think that's going to be kind of like a futuristic version of what game? They said
Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls, yeah. It's gonna be like
maybe they said it's gonna be the most like really hardcore, more hardcore than Elder Scrolls. I don't know what that even means.
Interesting.
But the thing is, like, I want to see. I hate trailers nowadays that just don't show any of the games. So they showed another game, Redfall or something like that.
Yeah. How does it look? It was like a zombie game. It was like
a zombie Left 4 Dead looking whatever. Maybe I don't know.
Zombies are coming back. I feel like zombies are the thing now again.
Those vampires. No one's zombies. They were vampires.
They're vampires. All right, vampire zombies. Yeah. All right.
So my thing with that game was like the premise, like I don't mind. Redfall. Yeah, it was called Redfall. The premise is like fine, but I don't know if I want this. I can't tell what kind of game it is. Is it first person? Is it third person? I just see a trailer and I'm like, okay, I get the concept, but show me a snippet of, especially if it's the game, the trailer where it's like they did the Apple thing. We got one more thing to show you. And so it's like, and I'm like, okay, this looks interesting. Are we gonna see any gameplay? No, you don't see any gameplay. So I'm like, how excited can I really get for this? I don't even know what it's really gonna look like. I'm over the Killzone 2 days where I just see a trailer. At least they tried the fake gameplay. That was what that one did. But this one's like, I get it. If a game is super far out and it's just not even ready, that's what like Starfield is, I guess, or whatever.
I mean, I guess Starfield's kind of to show, kind of boost up public's confidence in Microsoft and Bethesda partnership to show that they are going to deliver some exclusive gameplay for those
Yeah,
for the fans.
and then I think I just saw a comment today about someone got really not really mad. I think there was a bit of a backlash because
Mm-hmm.
Bethesda is not releasing it on PlayStation, and they apologized. They said, "Yeah, we know it sucks," and I'm like, "Okay, but no, don't say that. Just be like, go get an Xbox or whatever." Like to me, that's so weak.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
used to be like
maybe they
have
still
pride. I know it's like if I was that company, I would come out and be like, "Well, trust us, this game's gonna be so good, you're just gonna want to go get an Xbox for it or a PC or whatever."
I mean, I'm sure
Like
they
I wouldn't
still
be
have
like, I
some
know
contracts and things with PlayStation.
Sony's been wrecking Xbox in terms of
Yeah.
exclusives,
Mm-hmm.
and so the one Xbox starts getting exclusives, and the company is like, "I'm sorry, guys."
I would say give it some time until Bethesda kind of melds into the Microsoft ecosphere, because I still think because they released some games on the other systems, which probably sold probably a lot more. They don't want to
It would be
be jerks to.
huge if Elder Scrolls 6 was Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, you
That would
never
be
know.
gigantic.
You never
I
know.
don't know if they'll want to do that because that costs them money. Because they know
Mm-hmm.
if they have PlayStation, that's like double the sales.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but it would be a statement, and it would be something
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft might say, "Hey, we'll give you $1 billion just
I
to
think
make
they need to
it."
do that. I think exclusivity
It
is
would be
probably the
good.
key. It
It
would
would
look
be
good for
fun.
Xbox. Because I'll tell
It
you
would,
this, we talked about this a lot before in the past with how we feel about the console generation, and I think we both
yeah.
felt like Sony is gonna steal it. But quite honestly, kind of jumping the gun because Xbox was day one. Kind of jumping the gun on everything. I feel like Xbox with their Game Pass, I think it's just going to be so much better. Like every trailer they showed had a Game Pass, or most of them had like a Game Pass logo, or say day one on Game
But
Pass. And I feel like Game Pass will be the key to kind of like Microsoft's success this generation. Because
and well,
mhm.
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now, I was gonna say that to me, I think it's just brilliant. Like you look at it, and I think it's just brilliant marketing, and Microsoft is pushing it, and it's just I think I don't think it's caught on with the public just yet, but I think at some point there's going to be a kind of like a climax where people can realize like, wow, this is like I always say this Netflix for games. You know what I mean? I think that soon the public will start to kind of like pick up on that.
But here's the issue I have with that
Mm-hmm.
because it's like Netflix is the reason Netflix for games works. Well, Netflix works because you can get it on anything,
Yeah.
and Games Pass it doesn't work the same way because you can't get it on anything.
Well, aren't they working on trying to like you can play Game Pass anywhere, like on your
Whether
PC?
they're working on it or not is the different thing. If it's, I'm just saying right now where it is and
Yeah.
which you can play it on, you can only do it PC if you have a good enough PC to play a lot of the PC games. You can do the X Cloud if you have like an Android device.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't work on Apple. They're trying to do some beta web browser version of it, but it doesn't work on Apple. Apple won't allow it.
Well,
and then
well, I was just kind of saying like towards like the future because right now I don't know.
I know, but
I don't know
I'm just
about
saying
you, but do you know anybody who really knows about Game Pass like that, or talks about Game Pass aside from gamers? Do you hear like,
no.
Yeah, you see, I feel like it's just
But-
kind of like still very small, and Microsoft is still promoting it. But I think at one
But
point
they've been doing this for like the last 3 years. My thing is like it's just that you still need the reason Netflix works is because you can get Netflix, on your Nintendo DS. You can get it anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I never said it's a literal Netflix, but it's like kind of like an example. Like I think that's the analogy. I think that's the what do you call it? Like the next parallel you can say.
But
the easiest parallel
here's
for like a common person.
But even saying that, fuck common people.
They buy stuff too, bro.
The thing, no, but I'm saying like you don't have to common people it. I'm just saying.
You know what I'm saying? Just in general.
My thing is the reason I would say like when you're thinking about Netflix and shit is like you have Netflix. The reason Netflix works or should work is the content on it, not just the fact that you can just play a bunch of games. Because to me, I've had Game Pass, and I don't play a lot of the games, but I'm just a person that wants the ability to play the games.
Yeah.
But I think the more common person or whatever you're saying might look at a lot of these games and be like, I don't want to pay a subscription. I might not play a lot of these games. I see like I'm not saying like some of these games
for like
are bad.
$10,
I just don't see.
a month.
I just don't see enough to me that's going to swerve the competition around. Other than the people that already own Xbox, they don't need to worry about that. They got to get more people to get Xboxes or to get on this. Yeah. And that's what you need the exclusive games for. You need the Spider-Man, Miles Morales. You need whatever Final Fantasy VII remake. You know, PlayStation has such heavy hitters. They don't need to do this shit.
But if you look at Microsoft advertising, they're really looking at Game Pass as like their savior, more than even more than I think the Xbox Series X/X. I mean S. You know, I feel like they're pushing that a little bit harder, you know, as the future of gaming. Because I think like we always say, at some point it's probably going to be a plateau. Maybe not this generation or the next, but at some point it's going to be a plateau. And what's really going to matter is the service that you're offering. So they're really pushing this games as service, platform to really like kind of get the ground running.
But if there's no games on it worth playing, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say.
There are games that are going to come on it. You know what I mean? The games.
But I'm saying, like, even looking
at E3, they're showing all these games that came on that showed.
But nothing. That's what I'm trying to say though. Nothing there, to me. There are some decent things there, but nothing there to me really said, "Oh my God, I need to go out and get an Xbox, or I need to get Game Pass so I can play these when they come out."
All right, so
that's my thing. Nothing there.
Let's talk about some of the games that they talked about.
Go for it.
So on day one. So, Stalker 2. I don't know much about it. I'm not really a fan of it, but it looked good. Back 4 Blood is actually a game that I'm looking to play. It's like pretty much.
It's Left 4 Dead rebooted,
sequel. Left 4 Dead. Contraband was just like a CGI presentation. Sea of Thieves. Now, even though I haven't played Sea of Thieves yet, I did like how they incorporated Pirates of the Caribbean into it, as kind of like a free DLC or free update. I feel like maybe
I played Sea of Thieves.
All right, so tell me how you feel about it.
Of Game Pass, I had Game Pass. I played Sea of Thieves. It was fun for a day, and I never played it again. and it's nothing bad. I know that it's like it's gotten better. I know it had problems at release, but I played it a little later when it was supposed to get better. I think a lot of the appeal of it is the initial exploration of everything. But then I don't know how the progression works in that game. It's not like you level up or anything. You just get better pirate gear or something. I don't know, pirate costumes and stuff. You have to, but like, the combat's kind of bare bones. It's not really deep, which is fine. It's not really meant to be. Part of the funnest thing is being a sailor, which is like, you got to work together to get the ship working and things like that. And that's kind of fun,
of course, right?
You coordinate online. You play. I was playing with a friend.
Oh, nice.
And the first mistake we went is we got a ship that was too big that we couldn't.
We couldn't navigate. You need other people to kind of like.
There's ships that work for like 2 people, and there's ships that work better with 3 and 4. So we took like a 4-man ship with just 2 of us, and then realized, okay, this doesn't work. And it's funny things happen. Like we ran into like a kraken and it was fun, but neither him or I said, let's see what we can get into tomorrow and play this game. We didn't, that was it. We just played it one time. And
well, let me ask you a question.
I was done.
With the DLC, did you see the trailer for the DLC they showed?
I know it was Jack Sparrow, but to me, the way the game is made, I don't think there's anything that can make me play it. I played it and it was fun. That's the thing too. I don't want to say like it's not a good, it was fun, but it didn't, for me, it was like, it's like a roller coaster. Maybe you do it once and then you're like, oh, that was cool. And then that's it. That's how I felt.
I mean, for me, I think, even though it's probably a game that I probably won't be playing, I'll try to play it. I won't be playing it. I do like the idea that they're trying to really get it out there with like, the brand recognition of crossing over with, Pirates of the Caribbean. I think
they're pushing it because they're relying on that. That's an Xbox exclusive that they need to do better.
Yeah, so they're really pushing.
But it's not going to. I don't think this expansion is going to make it an impact on anybody. And you're laughing because it's true.
We'll see. We'll see. I think we'll see. I think
it's not going to push copies of this. It's like what it reminds me of. It's like when watching Square Enix's presentation, and which we'll get into a little bit, but it was like seeing them still pushing the Avengers game. Nobody's playing that.
Nobody's playing it. Yeah.
Black Panther DLC, and they're like, for free. This is how bad we want you back. Here, take this free DLC, which if this was popular, we would have charged for, but now we can't.
Yeah.
No, that game is dead. I know they gonna keep trying to bring it back. Like the only way that game survives is if they release it for free and
It's like a
pray for the best.
free to play.
I'd play it if it was free to play. I'd try it out.
They should probably do that. I think sometimes if it doesn't work out,
Do it like Destiny. Yeah. Make a portion of it free, and then if you want to finish the adventure, $5. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Make it free to play. Free to play for that type of game is the way to go now. Mm-hmm. Especially if you did so terrible.
So another game that I thought looked really good, Battlefield 2042. Would you seen the trailer?
I did.
I thought it looked pretty good.
I saw the trailer. The trailer was the first trailer without the gameplay was like, it's the way I feel. Like I want to see how this game will play. Mm-hmm. Then they showed the trailer. Battlefield has always been really pretty looking. Mm-hmm. So I had to rewatch it in 4K after the trailer. When they upload it to the thing where you can watch it without it. When they're showing it during a presentation, it's downscaled. So I saw it and it looks great. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things where Battlefield was never a series I got too deep into. Mm-hmm. I played a little bit of Battlefield 1, Battlefield 1. The World War I, the one that's in between 4 and 5. I played Battlefield 1, and I played a little bit of Battlefield 3. They're fun, but they're different. They're like they're kind of like a game where I feel like you really feel like a soldier in a way that you can do things, but it's really like a huge battle where everybody in your whole thing has to be doing things right to win. It doesn't feel. It feels like it feels fun because I feel like you can jump into it and kind of just have a good time, and it's not so gamery like Call of Duty, where you get teabagged and all sorts of. That's kind of not how Battlefield works.
I think the last Battlefield I played was probably on Xbox 360, and it was like the one that was really popular. I think Battlefield 3.
Probably 3 or 4.
I think it was 3 I played. I actually did enjoy it. I was borrowing it from GameFly, and it was really cool. This trailer looked really, exciting because it looked like
environmental effects,
which
people tried to say was a political statement, but
about the weather.
Yeah, they were trying to say, Battlefield's talking about the global warming, and they were like, no, it's just for gameplay.
It's a sandstorm. Jesus, come on. Yeah.
No, people turned it into something like that.
Of course, people. That's what people do online when they have time, and But
Battlefield
it actually looked pretty dope. I thought they had a strong presentation. It looked cool. Like it made me want to buy Battlefield. Like I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick a Battlefield.
I'll tell you what I was more hyped about. Mm-hmm. Halo.
I was about to get there.
The multiplayer. I looked at so if that's why I said to me that was something where I would say, okay, I want an Xbox for. I'm glad it's coming to PC, so I don't have to get an Xbox. But because that multiplayer just felt like it felt like Halo. I felt like it's gonna be like Halo. Mm-hmm. I don't think it'll be as good as if Bungie would make it, maybe, but I feel like this is probably gonna be 343's best attempt ever at doing a multiplayer. And the best part about it is fucking free
to play. Free to play.
It's free.
That's amazing. I think
if it's free in a way where I can hit you up and hit somebody else up, and we can just play some 4v4 Slayer ranked or whatever. If it's that free, then by means, I'm probably already going to buy the campaign.
I think it'll be that free because you know what it is. I think Call of Duty
doing season passes or whatever.
Warzone is doing pretty well. Like a lot of people are playing Call of Duty Warzone, and that's doing good for. And
I think they say to compete, you can't charge for it. There's no, and they're going to make their money with the season pass. I like the way their passes go. I heard once you purchase a pass, you have forever to complete it. So it's not like. In these games, you get a season pass. You got 90 days to do it, and if you don't do it in 90 days, you lose whatever chance to unlock that stuff. And I think that is annoying. Like you have to pay, and technically you pay with in-game money, so you can not really use real money. I think that's the justification for it. But more than likely, you're going to be paying $10, and you have one season or whatever to unlock all this shit, which means you have to play a certain amount of time or get them, it's like, it's kind of crazy because I've kind of bought a lot of Apex Legends season pass, and I might have only finished 2 or 3, because some of the stuff you really kind of want. So you're like, okay, and then you realize, oh, I don't feel like playing Apex for a while. This game's annoying me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I lose out. I'm wasting money. But I like the fact that I believe they said you get a season pass, you or whatever pass you buy, you get
have
to finish it forever. Finish it. So that's never, that's like, oh my God. They're doing, I think they're doing so much right because they need to for Halo, because Halo is just not what it was. Yeah. And but this is their chance.
Especially after what happened
last year. It looks much better. Everything looks better with Halo too.
Yeah.
So I was excited for that. That was one of the good ones. That I was like, okay. Okay, wait. This wasn't necessarily E3, but this is a big. This one's a biggie. Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
Do you know anything about this?
No.
Okay. Well, now I'll explain. I'll blow your mind real quick. So it's from Software. It's their next game. You know what they're Dark Souls guys. They're Dark Souls guys. So this is their next big thing. The big deal behind it is the story is written by George R.R. Martin, or the world is created by George R.R. Martin.
The Game of Thrones guy.
So this was announced maybe like 2 years ago, and then almost looked like vaporware. Like no leaks, no nothing about it. And then they just showed this. I think it was a little bit before E3. I'm not sure. They just showed this great trailer. They just showed a fantastic trailer. I'm not into these Souls kind of games, but I would give this one a try. Just because it looked pretty cool. It looked pretty damn good.
And it's a whole brand new IP and everything, right?
It's a brand new IP, and I think the game is just kind of the surface. I think they're going to try to make this whole Elden thing like big, especially with the George R.R. behind it. So I think he's still a good writer. It's kind of hard I'm still waiting for Wins the Winner. That's a whole nother
discussion.
Whole nother discussion. I hope he just doesn't die before he's finished, which happens a lot. I was looking around about a lot of books that people don't finish, and they don't, they gotta get a ghostwriter or somebody else to finish it. Okay.
Well, just kind of stay on Bethesda and Microsoft a little bit. Another game that I thought looked impressive that surprised me was Forza Horizon.
Yes,
I was like,
I'm not a big guy. I'm not a big Forza person. Forza Horizon 4 is on Games Pass. I played it a little bit. It's fine. But this looked, just from a visual standpoint, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is what games like need to do. It just looks so visually impressive that I'm like, I wouldn't mind trying that. I probably won't play it deeply, but I'll give that a damn shot. That looks good.
Yeah.
And it looks fun. I like the way how they kind of, Forza Horizon, to me, I don't know how it compares to the Motorsport Forza.
I believe it's supposed to be always more arcadey.
It just, and to me, it always just felt more appealing. But I was never into Gran Turismo type things anyway. But this looks fun. This looks like I get with some of the boys. I only know one person that will play this religiously, and that's Justin will play Forza Horizon. He loves Horizon 4. So, but just the fact how they kind of did the communication while driving, the certain things,
drive all over.
It just seems fun to get in there and just do shit. And Forza, I'm not a racing guy, and that to me looked like okay.
Yeah,
that looked good.
It looked impressive because it was like it really looked like an open world, like literally like you can drive anywhere.
The height and the view distance,
like the mountain, like when you're at the mountain and you see you're driving, around the mountain and it's huge and the sky, like it just looked like I want to go there right now. I want to be in that area.
The only thing is like, of course, racing games are always the easiest to render and stuff. That's why they can look so good. But I don't care. That's just they did it smart too.
Yeah,
they like when you rewatch that trailer, especially like in 4K, watch it, and then it's like they did really good getting that photorealistic sense, and then having the game pull right into it.
Yeah,
they'll say like, look at the texture, and then oh shit, the game, it just goes right into the game. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see a trailer about what this kind of game might be. Show me this.
And I love the technical
details
that they were providing, like how they said that they captured the sky, the actual Mexican sky, with 4K
stuff. I'm
cameras.
like, whatever.
I'm like, I mean, it's whatever, but it's like, it's impressive to kind of see that and look at the game and be like, wow, this is like actual, like.
I mean, because the way I look at it is like on some level that's cool, but I'm like I'm not gonna be thinking about that when I'm playing.
Oh yeah, of
but I
course
will
not.
be thinking about how beautiful it is. I don't care about the tech behind it that much. Some people do. What's that channel? Digital Foundry. Go check them out.
Yeah.
They'll tell you all good stuff.
I know.
But let me just look at it and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
So
And
yeah, Forza,
that's awesome.
very good call out on that one. That was very good.
Another one, Far Cry 6. I'm
not really Microsoft, right? But
still part of the Microsoft, but it was part of the.
Well, Far Cry 6 was announced way before anyway. We know it's coming to all. And they showed gameplay trailers. I think at the UB Forward, whatever they have that thing called. Far Cry 6 looks very good too. Actually, I'm not big into Far Cry. I have them all. Actually, I have 4.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know about this RPG called Euden Chronicle?
Oh, do I?
Yes, I want to know because I saw the trailer and I'm like, this actually looks interesting. I've never seen it before.
Okay. Do you want me to go into it real quick?
Just what it is? A little bit. All
right. So I don't even know how to say it, right? Euden Chronicle.
Euden Chronicle.
So it's a Kickstarter game, right?
Okay.
One of those. So that's always kind of like, I don't know. Made by a lot of former Konami developers that worked on, I believe this is what it is, who worked on the Suikoden series. Okay. So, Suikoden, PlayStation RPG, 108 Stars of Destiny. It's one of the best PlayStation RPG series that never came out of the PS2. It just died on the PS2. Like nothing else came after that. Died with Suikoden 5. And the reason I can tell it's definitely a Suikoden love letter is it's called something of the 100 Heroes, and they show a lot of characters kind of in the trailer. So if it's anything like Suikoden, you're gonna have a lot of characters to collect. You're probably gonna get a base at some point and it's gonna be like this kind of war, but it's gonna be very RPG. But they're going in that same style as what's the game? Chronicles? Not I
know Octopath Traveler.
Yes, they're going in that art style, which is great.
It was really.
Did you see the Dragon Quest 3 remake?
No, I didn't see that.
They're remaking it in that style too. So it's like I'm just more of this style.
I think Square just that style. Now it's like the 16-bit 3D style.
Yeah, so
now and it looks good. With it. It's like a storybook. It's like a
Eden Chronicles are so I can tell just looking at it, they're really hitting that Suikoden 2 vibe, which Suikoden 2 is one of the best RPGs ever made. And I think Suikoden, people have been starving for Suikoden. Konami just doesn't give a shit. So, thank God to Kickstarters. I'm just hoping this turns out more like Bloodstained did than Mighty Number 9. Because Bloodstained was very good. And Mighty Number 9 is, it looks great though. And I mean, they when they announced it and they showed a little teensy trailer before, they killed their goal. People just gave money because they want this thing, and it looks good.
It looked good.
It's looking really good.
Like when I see RPGs, I kind of like kind of ignore it a little bit. But that caught my attention. So, I'm like, I might want to play this. It looks pretty good.
That was one of my when I saw that and I said, oh. I mean, I know it's coming out every system. It's not Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, but
but I'm down for that when that comes out for sure. I'm glad you brought that. I was going to bring that up, but glad you did. I don't know about that second game they showed. One that looked like they showed 2 Euden Chronicle games, and one was like a beat 'em up.
Yeah,
that one I was like,
that
they didn't announce that before. That was new, and I don't care about that so much. I might play it if it's important to the other game, but. We'll see. All right,
so to kind of back it up a little bit, I know I forgot to mention Ubisoft's press conference. Now, I saw the trailer for Rainbow Six Extraction, and before you say anything, I just wanted to say, I don't know how much Rainbow Six you played aside from Siege, but my first, the only Rainbow Six games I really played were the ones for Vegas, and I love those games. Like as a strategy game, first person strategy. Games, I love them. Even though they're more arcadey than the past Rainbow Six games, I enjoy playing Rainbow Six 1 and 2. But when I saw Rainbow Six Extraction, it looked like it still looks. I don't think they showed any. Well, there's gameplay. It still looks good, but I feel like it's not Rainbow Six, and I feel like they might be like watering down the brand with like these kind of like I guess forays into like zombies or whatnot. So I'm talking about Rainbow Six Extraction. You saw the trailer?
I saw part. Yeah, I saw some of the trailer, not all of it. I saw a bunch of players of Siege watching the trailer and talking about it from their point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that. Yeah. So what do I think of it? I don't know. Rainbow Six Siege is so popular, and this is how popular Rainbow Six Siege is. In Extraction, it's Rainbow Six Siege characters.
Mm-hmm.
Those characters talking are all Rainbow Six Siege operators.
Mm-hmm.
That's how popular that's how I think profitable that series has been. So they just said, well, that game is all multiplayer. So can we get some kind of PvE? Some people, because there's a lot of people, there's not a lot, but there are people that will play Rainbow Six. I know a couple of people that just played Terrorist Hunt. Which is like kind of, I think it's like a mode where it's not really meant to be a single. It's not meant to like buy this game and you can play Terrorist Hunt and enjoy it. No, it's like this is here if you want to kind of learn your operators a little better and you play some stupid AI, but you play on the stages and stuff. It's a good way to kind of maybe play a stage with computer control, and so now they're releasing basically like you could say a kind of a campaign. I feel like maybe for that with they had some modes in Rainbow Six that were temporary that were like zombie or whatever kind of weird modes that I heard were pretty fun. So maybe they said, oh, this was a hit. Let's just turn that into a game. So maybe that's what this is. I didn't really look too deep into it, but
I thought that was interesting. And then what else? Ubisoft. And even though I guess anything else? What'd you think of Mario plus Rabbids Sparkles of Hope?
What did I think about that? Mario plus Rabbids.
Yeah, because I haven't played the game.
I didn't play the first one.
I heard it got received good reception. So
what happened?
I said,
it looks. I mean, this one looked a little bit more interesting than the first one from just the trailers. I've never played either. I think it's kind of nice that Mario's able to be involved with another series. I just think the Rabbids of all things to be involved with is they're like annoying to me, but
apparently
I'd rather have Mario be with Rayman instead of the Rabbids from Rayman.
Imagine a platform of Mario and Rayman.
Imagine, oh my God, a 2D Rayman. It's like, imagine they said
2D or
Mario. 3D. Well, take that Rayman Legends 2D art style, which is that beautiful, and put Mario. Like, that kind of mix up. Give me
that's
that.
What we need to see. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. Beautiful.
Mario cross.
But you can throw on a Rayman outfit no, you can throw a Mario outfit on Rayman in it. So I don't know.
Oh, nice.
That's as far as you'll get.
I guess so for now.
So it looked fun. The game it looked like a fun kind of game to play. Like a tactical kind of thing.
I like how they're always giving Mario some type of guns in that game. It's always funny. Like the first game, he had like the cannon, and then now he has like these futuristic guns. So,
right? Yeah.
What's up with GTA Mario?
It is. It is what it is. I mean, I'm not too. Hold on, I'm just ordering. I'm being fat and ordering dinner.
No problem. All right. So while you're ordering dinner, let's kind of swing over to the Square Enix conference. We talking earlier about Marvel's Avengers, and I guess Square Enix is also developing a Guardians of the Galaxy game. I saw the trailer kind of late, and it looks really good. It looks fun. I think they're trying to like retain the same kind of flavor the movies kind of show, like the MCU movies. I don't know if you've seen the trailer. Have you seen it?
Yes, I watched the whole. I kind of when I started the conference, they were showing it. Like it was the first thing they showed. So, I think it's weird because I think one of the issues with creating this is that people are attached to the movie. I think the characters looked fine actually.
Yeah, I think.
But all I saw was people saying, "Oh my God, look how Quill looks," or "Look how these characters look," and I think what they might be too attached to how they looked in the movies.
Yeah, that's kind of the downfall of the MCU. I mean, even though it's popular,
yes,
but people think that they're the default. Like, for example, the Avengers game, even though I'm used to like seeing
some of them
different
look bad in the
variations,
Avengers game though, but go ahead.
but even though I'm used to seeing different variations of characters and different mediums, because the Avengers, because all these superheroes are kind of like tied to the MCU. When I see games based off of them and using like fake characters, it just looks kind of like off. Like when I saw, the first time I saw the Avengers, and you saw all the unhelmeted characters, like Tony Stark and Captain America, they all they look cheap. They look like cheap knockoffs, and I don't know if it's their design or is it just that I'm so used to seeing like in a realistic.
You're used to seeing, like Robert Downey Jr. Mm-hmm. You're used to seeing this guy, whoever. Because I looked
like
at
when you don't see
said,
them, you just feel like, okay, you don't.
This is a stupid knockoff.
Yeah, it's a knockoff, and it's like hard not to think like that. And it's kind of weird that I think like that. Because I can feel like you can do a Superman game in a realistic tone, and I don't think anything of it, But if I see like Avengers, it just feels like kind of bootleg. So I don't know if it's like their design or it's just like my mind just being so used to seeing the MCU.
They should have Marvel should have been smarter, or somebody should have been like able to have the part of the contract was we can use your likeness if we make a game.
Yeah. If they had done that,
that's probably the reason they
a little bit more forgiving to the game. If you had Robert Downey Jr.'s likeness,
and his voice,
and his
because that's another thing that people were saying. Oh,
that's a money right there.
The way this guy sounds is terrible. Like because to be fair, in the Avengers game, from all the clips I watched, because I watched a lot of it, all you hear is people say, "Oh, it's just like this is a guy doing a Robert Downey Jr. impersonation when he's talking as Iron Man." So automatically, like it's like they're trying to capture in some ways what we know of the characters from the. Because let's be fair, before all this MCU stuff and nobody cared about Iron Man. Everybody cared about Spider-Man and stuff, but like Iron Man was kind of a B-level hero. Nobody knew the Guardians of the Galaxy. Nobody knew any of these things. The only reason you're getting a Guardians game is because the movies and the MCU is so popular. That's the only reason these games are being made. So they can't capitalize off of that, really, in terms of because the minute I'm watching the stream and all I see comments, oh my God, look at them, they look terrible.
Yeah, like
that's the game. I thought the game. I actually like the idea of the game. I like it being single player. I don't know about just being able to control Star-Lord because that looked a little. I feel like they didn't show it, but he should be not just floating with his thing. He should be flying around and doing stuff like that. I hope they do that because the gameplay to me looked a little generic. I mean, you asked the partner stuff, not, but like him shooting things and then flying and shooting things, and I was like,
it took the Iron Man like character.
It looked very basic. It looked pretty basic, but and the game is coming it's not that far off. Also, what I didn't like is, I know that was a trailer, but there was some very bad slowdown in some of those fights. There was a lot, and I checked the real trailer just to make sure, and it happened in the real trailer, like in the upload. So I said, that's not a good sign. But that's stuff they can probably clean up. Avengers, I'm not saying it's the same engine as the Avengers, but that had a lot of problems with the engine in terms of frame rate and stuff like that. So I hope that doesn't happen in this game. But I like the risk. I think that's a big risk.
Yeah.
The Guardians of the Galaxy game.
I mean, I guess it's kind of show how strong the IP is outside of the movies, because if they do that, then you'll see Guardians of the Galaxy cartoons, this and that.
I know it's a different studio on the Square Enix that's producing this, but for all intents and purposes, as popular as the Avengers are, that flopped. Yeah. So as popular as Guardians might be, and I don't think they're as popular as the Avengers anyway. I think they're up there, but they're not like Avengers before.
Well, I feel like this might be a lower risk than the Avengers because it's a single player type experience.
But I feel like developing these games ain't cheap, especially if you're developing a single player game.
Avengers, it was like this online world, and that he had to maneuver.
Yeah, it was probably a little more to keep it up and going.
I guess when you have the singular experience, it's probably a little bit more easier to
They don't have to
continue.
worry about the internet part or
Exactly.
2-player mode or whatever.
Yeah.
They
So
just
if they can create a compelling story and narrative, and maybe gamers might
And I hope that's where that with a character like the Guardians of the Galaxy should be able to create a fun kind of galaxy romp. But
But
they
you know
need to
what?
figure that
I
out.
feel like people are always going to just compare it to the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and I feel like that might be the
That's
downfall.
why I said that's the hardest part about making this sale, because a lot of people are like, oh my god, look at Quill's face. That's a lot of sales going right down the drain just because people don't like the way it looks.
Yeah.
That's the problem with games. Games are so much about what it looks like.
It may not be just the game, but I think it may also be because Marvel, because there's no other versions of these characters. These are kind of like the first versions of the characters everyone's used to. So they don't know anybody
and they're not even the original, right? Like the original Guardians are different.
You know what I mean? So I think like for example, like I mentioned Superman, there was like 5-7 different Superman. So you can kind of see different people playing Superman because you're so used to that over all the years. Batman, so many different people play Batman.
Yeah. So you can kind of be like, okay,
yeah,
I can see it different, but you can't see it different.
Iron Man.
These newer versions of these characters are such etched in our
because there's only one person who's really played them. You know what I mean? And the MCU is like one continuous story. So because they don't have a break in like continuity, in continuity or reboots, then you're really kind of stuck with those, characters or those actors as those characters. So it'll be interesting to see what happens from then on. Like you mentioned before, I think they definitely should have made a deal to get their likenesses, because I think
they should have had those likenesses, because
just those likenesses alone would
have alone made people wouldn't have been like, oh my god, look at his face. They would have been like, oh, this Chris Pratt.
Yeah. All right. So to kind of move over a little bit, let's see. There was a PC gaming show event.
I didn't check it out. Even as big of a PC gamer I am, I didn't.
They showed,
because I felt like that was like I don't know if that was even the same day or if that was the next day. I don't remember.
Well, there's one PC game that I liked that I'm trying to remember the name. I'm just blanking on it. There are so many games that were shown. It was like this bullet ballet.
Okay.
What is it called? It seemed very similar to that game Fire. Hot. What's that game called? Hot. Super Hot.
Super Hot.
Seemed very similar in a way where you kind of dodge bullets and everything. I'm blanking on the name. I wish I could remember it. But that game actually looked pretty good. That's a game that I think is coming to the PC. If I remember it, I'll let you guys know, because that game looked pretty sweet.
Let's do a quick run through, because I want to maybe 15 more minutes.
I guess, all right. So let's just see. I think
Among Us update. What do you think about that?
Among Us, don't really care. 15 players. I haven't played Among Us in a while. So
I don't know if it's time has passed.
I think it's time has passed. It was good. You know what it is? It benefited from the pandemic where everyone was at home and bored and looking at stuff. And then, but I think now it's just like, all right, I think Among Us is kind of like right now.
Let's see.
Well, I was going to kind of go to Capcom's presentation. Let's see what they did.
They didn't. Well, they didn't really even. Their presentation was, they said everything before and they didn't show anything extra. So if you're into, what's the Ace Attorney thing is coming over, which I guess is a big deal.
The great Ace.
That was so hard to translate, so that's a big deal. Personally, I played like one of them. It was, I didn't get into it.
It was Severed Steel. Sorry, the other game was from Guerrilla Collective. It was Severed Steel. That's the game I was talking about. That game looked really good. Kind of just going through this real quick.
Wait.
Honestly,
so Capcom, Resident Evil DLC is coming. I didn't play Resident Evil 8. I know a lot of people like it. So that's good. They didn't show anything because I think they just said, okay, we're more's coming, guys. So that they showed a lot of Monster Hunter DLC. It was really underwhelming. Capcom's was really underwhelming. It was nothing. I knew they weren't going to show a new Street Fighter, because Street Fighter 5 still has one season left, so they're going to probably wait. I feel like they'll do their own fighting thing, and then they're not going to. But they could have announced any other. Capcom has so many good properties. One big announcement would have been fine, but they really didn't do that.
Yeah. I don't know if they're saving. Do they ever have any other events during the year?
Capcom? Yeah. I think Capcom kind of just throws things out there. But we still have a lot to get to because we got to get to Nintendo, some of the other big Nintendo.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna save
talk
Nintendo
about.
for last because I think Nintendo kind of killed it. So,
All right, so
yeah, I'm asking a question.
let's
Before that, there was a Summer Game Fest. Did you see the trailer for Metal Slug Tactics?
yeah.
Wow, what do you think? I was, it was made. I think it's
I
made
don't
by the
really
same
care for
people.
tactics games, but it looked fine. It looked cool.
I was kind of disappointed because I'm like, it was made by the same people who made like I guess Streets of Rage, or the same. It's published by the same company, I think. They Timu.
I mean, it
And
looked like if Metal
it made
Slug
me
was a
want like
tactics game.
another, Metal Slug game. Like when I saw it, I'm like, man, it looks so good, looks so faithful. I'm like, why can't we get an actual Metal Slug game? Like why a tactics version? I'm like, come on, man.
There's a Metal Slug game on the phone, and it's like it's one of those pay to win kind of shit. I think.
And that's what I should see your opinion real quick on Overwatch 2, because I know Overwatch 2, they've I guess one of the new gameplay elements is that they reduced the team
it's
count to
5-on-5 now, and they got rid of the tank basically. So
yeah.
it's I can't talk about it too much because I'm not like. I'm kind of the average Overwatch player who most Overwatch players are in my level. Like gold, platinum, whatever. That's where the most of the players fall into. And a lot of them are probably ones really complaining, oh my God, this is stupid. It takes but I'm like also in the same breath, like, maybe it is stupid, but I think it's something we have to wait and see how it works. Overwatch is Jeff, the guy at Overwatch left though. That's a scary thing. The head guy that designed it was really the pushing force. Differences? He's gone. Yeah, that's scary.
Okay, we'll see.
That's a scary thing. I still think it'll be fine. The only thing I think is the biggest issue I think Overwatch has is that they still can't. I don't think they've done a good job justifying Overwatch 2.
Yeah, they probably haven't.
As a new game, because it just looks like an expansion. It really just feels like it looks like an expansion. The characters look slightly better, but the gameplay is largely the same, and it's just some more maps and a couple of new characters. So they were also, when the game first was announced, they said it basically was an expansion. They said like you can play Overwatch 2 maps in the original Overwatch. Like they're just expanding it, and mostly it was just a campaign that you were purchasing, which was Overwatch 2. But now they're kind of saying
they're backtracking, right?
Like it's too big. It's going to be this really big new thing. And so I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know where. I don't know. I'm not super hyped for it, but I am hyped to be able to maybe play Overwatch again at some point because it's kind of dead for me. And so a new Overwatch would definitely bring me back in. As far as the change goes, I like tanks, but tanks, if you play Overwatch now, they have to give you a gift box to play as a tank. Wow. Nobody wants to play tank. So I don't, nobody plays, like most people play DPS. They play DPS or they play healers. The fact that the game rewards you for playing a tank because they need more tank players in the queue. So I don't, it is what it is. And I think some of the worst times in Overwatch were when tanks were too prevalent. Like, oh, you're just shooting into shields all day. Or, that's what it was. You felt like you were doing stuff, but nothing was happening. So I think the one tank is kind of a good approach. I just don't know how it goes because the tanks are very different and they function very differently, Interesting. Reinhardt has a shield. That's one of the most important things in the original Overwatch. But I think they said the new stage designs kind of don't, like Overwatch has you run a shield into like a choke area, and it's like I think they're designing the stages a little more open, so it's not so much like you need a Reinhardt every match. So, but we'll see. I'm on the fence. I'll probably get it because it's still too fun. But can we talk about Square Enix a little bit? I know we started with the Guardians of the Galaxy, but let's just because I think theirs was kind of somewhat of a not disaster, but so they announced Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, which I thought was cool. The first 6 Final Fantasy games are, I guess, going to be remastered into some. You could get them on your phone or Steam. They didn't really show too much, which is weird, but okay.
So wait, they're not so when you Are they remastered with like
It's
original
called a
pixels?
pixel. It's called a pixel remaster. And if you watch the trailer, I was pausing it, and they
Mhm.
show actually they show. I think what it kind of looks like. So they they didn't. Okay, one of the phone games have been remastered already, and they look
Mhm.
kind of ugly to some people because they redid the characters and stuff. So I think this pixel remaster is closer to the original look, but it's still gonna be on your phone or on Steam, and it's going to be able to be shown on your TV and look correct. You know what I mean? I
Okay,
think
I
that's
see.
what it is. But I don't know. They
Same
only
with
showed 30 seconds of it.
okay. So it's not like
Um,
it's not like a cleanup, like kind of like how what's it called? Legends of I guess the Legends game was like Legends of
yeah,
Mana. So it's not like a
yeah. It's
cleanup or
not going to
anything.
be like that kind of a remaster. I think it's just
Oh.
going to be. I don't know. I
Hmm.
really don't know. Next, their big they announced like a couple of this. I can't remember the name of one of their games, but it looked like a multiplayer uh version of that near
Yeah, I seen
automata or
that.
whatever.
Mhm.
I forgot what it was called. That looked all right. I mean, I don't know. But their big reveal was at the end where they announced Final Fantasy Origin, Stranger of Paradise, which is a terrible, terrible name. Um, it's terrible because they already have a Final Fantasy Origins on PlayStation. It's already that. That's
Mhm.
one bad. The second bad is so there was rumored that this is their Dark Souls. They're making a Dark Souls game.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is what this was. Um, and it's actually a retelling of the original Final Fantasy in terms of that's why it's called Origins.
All right, like
And in the
external
beginning of
origins.
in the beginning of the Final Fantasy, the first thing you do is you go into this castle and you fight Garland because he's a bad guy. And that's
Hmm.
what they show in this trailer. But instead, it was just in this dark, soulsy type of thing.
Hmm.
The character design looked terrible. There was a
Okay,
black
sure,
guy.
sure.
That was
Hmm.
cool. But but even then, I was like, this characters look so uninteresting. You could do, especially Tetsuya Nomura, who designs like Cloud and all them stuff.
Hmm.
I felt like these characters lacked. I don't know. Then they released a demo, which didn't work for 2 days. Like
Hmm.
literally just didn't work. So I don't know how people are taking the demo or whether it's cool or not, but we'll see. So I think that's it. For there was, I don't. There's nothing else really big at Square Enix. I think their biggest thing was what they started with, which was their Guardians of the Galaxy. Um, all right. Do you want to go to Nintendo?
Yo, let's get to the Big Kahuna. I think my personal favorite of E3, even though I was disappointed they didn't show the Wii Switch quote unquote Pro,
Mm-hmm.
was Nintendo. I think Nintendo had a great presentation. There's a lot of things that I wanted to pick up from Nintendo that I saw. So just to kind of like go back a little bit, let me just
Mm-hmm.
go back over here. So at the Nintendo conference, the first thing they showed was the latest character for Super Smash Brothers, uh,
Mm-hmm.
Kayuza.
Kazuya.
Kazuya, thank you. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Kazuya. Oh boy.
Kazuya.
Gotta edit that out. Kazuya. Oh man.
Yeah,
This is
Kazooie.
Kazuya.
uh,
Kazuya.
Kazuya, yes, from Tekken
Kazuya.
fame. He was
Mm-hmm.
in the game. He's the latest DLC for Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, and he looks. They didn't really go too deep into his gameplay. I think they're doing that on the 26th of this month.
Mm-hmm.
But he looked good. He looked, faithful to how he plays. I mean, I've only played up to fully Tekken 5. Um, but he looks good. Another fighter in a fighting game.
Which I
Um,
kind of was like, eh. I mean,
yeah, I wanted something kind of like more crazy where I'm like, yo, I did not expect this
yeah.
guy. Like, I feel
It's the
like
way of
it's
like,
cool in a way, but I just feel like, come on, man, like give me something like left field that's just like crazy. I
yeah,
just feel like,
like I'm not a big Minecraft fan, but like I get that, right? I get the
yeah.
Minecraft character, right? I like that.
Hmm.
This is like okay. I'm sure they do great by the DLC and stuff, but like it's just like I don't know. It was a little
Yeah, it's just another
underwhelming for me.
fighting. Okay, I'm tired. I'm kind of tired of it.
I'll tell you this: I didn't
Mhm.
see it coming.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Everybody swore Crash Bandicoot was coming,
Hmm.
but
I thought so too. I
and
mean,
even
at this
that to
point,
me, I kind of don't even want that. But
yeah.
um,
I mean, one of my favorite, one of the characters that was always my wish list was Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes, but maybe I
mhm.
feel like maybe he's probably too vulgar for even Smash Brothers. So with like this
Got
DLC.
Bayonetta in there. I mean,
Yeah, but she's more innuendo than like actual like stuff. Like I
they
don't know
can
if you
tone
remember.
him down. They can tone him down for the
Yeah, they
game if
could,
they
but I feel
really
like
want to. I don't think he's popular
even in
enough
the
to
Bayonetta games,
warrant it.
this is all innuendo and kind of like But I think in
I
No More
mean,
Heroes,
but
he's like really like
they're both games rated mature, so let's just
yeah,
go with that.
yeah, sure.
I
I don't
mean,
know. I'm just thinking that Travis would have been a great, I mean, he would have been another swordsman, which would have been like okay, that's another issue they have, but
I
I
just
don't
don't
know.
think he's iconic enough.
Yeah, that's true. He's actually with
Not that all the characters are iconic, but I
yeah.
don't think he's even iconic. I don't think he's more iconic than anybody on the roster right now. That's how I
Sure,
feel like.
even all right. Let's see who's on it. Come on, like the girl from
Other than
Arms.
another like series that they're trying to push, either like the he's more iconic than maybe
Arms girl. Come on.
yeah, I
Like,
was gonna say the Arms Girl,
yeah,
but
he has
that's
like
their
about
own thing.
four games
That's
in.
their own thing. They don't
Yeah,
have to
of
pay to
course.
put her in.
Yeah, I mean, she should
They're
have came
gonna have
with the game
to.
in the first. She should have been one of the first characters there.
Yeah, I think she should
You
have
know
been.
what I mean? So I'm like, I don't know. I think they kind of like,
Hey, remember Arms? No.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, so they showed Kayuza.
Kazuya, bro. Oh, did you do it on purpose? Okay. I don't know. You're gonna say
Let's
you
just say,
did. You probably
let's just say I did. Yeah. But he's from Tekken, so that was it. What
the
else?
trailer was good though.
It was good.
Because
It was fun.
in
He
Tekken
threw off
games,
the volcano.
he in the first thing he does in the Tekken games, he throws Heihachi off, his father off the cliff because that's what happened to him as a kid. So I think it was showing him throw everybody, Captain Falcon, Ganondorf, or whoever. He throwing all these characters off. I was like, oh, that's funny and it's cute.
Yo,
like he threw Kirby off and
I was
Kirby
just thinking
flew
of it.
up.
You know who I would have loved to see instead of like, him?
Who?
Raven.
Raven from where?
Tekken.
No,
That would have
definitely just not. He's not good. He's not iconic enough. He's no.
That would have been so.
He's
dope.
just a Blade lookalike. No.
Yeah, it's perfect.
No,
Or
definitely.
even Eddie Goro.
No,
I know he's not the face of the franchise. I'm actually surprised they didn't use Jin or Hayachi.
Heihachi to me would have been, but maybe to me it's like, well, I don't know. He was in that PlayStation battle, or whatever. So
That's true. They don't want to promote that. You never know when they're gonna come out with that again.
We're not getting that. No, we'll stay away from that.
Yeah.
Separate. We'll show you how to really put this character in the game.
I did see a model for him though. I don't know if that was like a trophy or something.
I think it was like a stage thing, or it could have been an assist trophy. I don't know. They add new stuff all the time. It's probably a stage character.
All right, so they had that, and then what else did they have? Super Monkey Ball. They didn't really care about that.
Yeah, they had I was kind of shocked to see the Advance Wars reboot.
Advance Wars, yeah. When I saw that, I was like, "Wow!" I love Advance Wars. Like, I actually beat the first game on Game Boy Advance, and it was really, really fun.
Much as I like Fire Emblem, I tried Advance Wars and never could get into it. I didn't like in Fire Emblem, you get attached to your characters, and Advance Wars, they're not. They're just little soldiers that are meant to go out and die.
Yeah,
so I didn't really, I just
really the COs are kind of like the star
of the characters,
yeah. So which I didn't mind.
That was cool. I felt like maybe they should have did a new one instead of a reboot of those two games.
Maybe they're trying to gauge interest to see how people. Because honestly, Advance Wars was one of the first tactics games I really played. One of the second games I bought for like the Game Boy Advance back in the day. So I'm I have a lot of nostalgia with the first game. So yeah, it's kind of cool to see that remake. And then they have like little animated scenes in the game. It's like completely remastered, and they actually kept the American designs, because in the Japanese version of
I know the characters looked a little bit
different. Like one of the guys, I think Olaf or something like that, he looked more like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
In the other version. So it looks like they're staying true to the American version.
Yeah.
You
want to talk about big hitters?
Big hitters, yo. Metroid Dread. Man.
Metroid Dread.
I saw that. I was like, whoo, that's a Metroid game. That looked good. I wasn't crazy with the suit, but I did like that they're going back to like the 2D gameplay.
I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you what I liked and what I didn't like. I actually thought the suit was cool. I liked how it said Metroid 5, and that means that chronologically, it doesn't even have to be the fifth game or whatever, but it's it's canon.
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't really made a canon Metroid game. I guess Other M is canon. I don't know, but who cares?
Yeah, somewhat.
So Metroid 5, to me, it was like, this is it. This is big shit right here.
Mm-hmm.
Then it went into the 2D gameplay, and I kind of said, "Oh, this isn't Metroid Prime."
No, you want Metroid Prime? Okay, yeah, I guess
this isn't Metroid Prime, because Metroid Prime to me still is the best conversion of a 2D game to 3D. Never have I felt like a game where you step into the character more than from playing Super Metroid to Metroid Prime. It was literally like the perfect 3D translation. And I didn't like first-person games, but this was amazing. Every Metroid Prime to me is still one of the perfect single-player games ever. It was so good. I like it better than Super Metroid, which some people might be whatever, but that's just me. But yeah, Metroid. So when they did announce Metroid Prime 4, they didn't cancel it, but I'm curious to know if they did reset, they were going to redo Metroid Prime, and I wonder if this is what it turned into.
Isn't it different? Because I heard that they've been working on this for a while, and then they're still working on Metroid 4.
I don't know. I didn't watch any of the behind the scenes. So are they still working on Metroid Prime?
I believe they're still working on Metroid Prime.
If that's true,
yeah.
If that's true, then I will take away all the bad stuff about this game, because now I'm just going to judge it for what it is. Now, what I didn't play Return of Samus.
On the
3DS. The newer
I actually have it.
Which has that newer mechanic which she deflects things, which I've seen in this game. I didn't know how I felt about it then, and when it was in Return of Samus. So seeing it here, I'm not sure if that's a mechanic I'm fond of or not. Now, what I was kind of interested in is the whole Dread feature. Obviously, Dread is not a happy tone. And it looked, I rewatched the gameplay trailer, and it looked like if that thing catches you, you die. Because when it touched her, the animation played where it jumps on her and then it just went bomb Metroid. But I think that kills you. I think that might be, if it's like that, that's scary, which is kind of cool. Because Metroid does always supposed to have a little bit of that scary thing. I didn't like the design of those things though. I like the more organic kind of Metroid enemies. I don't like these robot-looking things.
Different, it is different. It makes me interested kind of to know what the story of it. So I think if they have, a good story and other different robots, other different designs and maybe other creatures, I'm willing to forgive it.
But my thing too is the best Metroids had the least story. And in terms of the story, is really
heavy on the story, but just like kind of like the setup, like pretty much like
it's told within the environment you explore. You piece it together. They kind of stopped doing that with Metroid 4, Metroid Fusion, and then they stopped. And then Metroid Prime 2 is when they started having more talking and things, people in it. Metroid Prime 1 was a perfect example of how to tell a good story. With the, you see the phase on and what it's become and what it's done to the Metroid, and everything about that was so organic. You wanted to scan everything to see the story. That's part of the appeal of Metroid Prime too. It wasn't just first-person Metroid. You literally never have I had so much fun just turning on my scan visor and just checking out, what is this? Yeah. What is that? What is this? What happened here? You know what I mean? That's what I was hoping for. I missed that. Yeah. So seeing this being
like a 2D game,
I was kind of like, okay, 2D, and that is Metroid's roots. Yeah. They are going back to roots. I will say this though, it looked like a 3DS game to me.
You know what? I think when they zoomed in, it looks a little bit better. But I think when you see,
but when it pulled out, like the frame rate was nice and smooth, but.
I think they may have
even when she's shooting the things, when she shoots, like in the beginning of the trailer, she shoots the things and the bullets like bounce off. It looks cheap. It doesn't even. So I was like, that's the only thing. Because if you look at games like, what's the Kickstarter game that I said earlier with the not the Chronicles game, but the Bloodstain looks beautiful as a 2D game. This does not to me look that good. And it looks fine gameplay wise.
It looks like a downloadable, like $20.
It looks like a phone game or something, right? It doesn't look.
Not even. I would say phone game.
I'll give it better.
Like a $20 like game, like those $20 games on the Switch store.
Some phone games look good though.
Yeah,
Look at that's a whole other thing. But no, yeah, you're right. It doesn't look like this is my full $60 Metroid game.
Mm-hmm.
Is it gonna? I guess it's gonna be $60.
I think
right?
so. Of course, it's Nintendo.
It doesn't look like it, too, right? It just
I mean,
doesn't
there
feel
might
like
be
a
some
$60
more
game.
polish that needs to be done.
And I will, but they don't got time. They don't like.
Oh, it's coming out this year, right?
It comes out in October.
Yeah, so I guess that's
4 months. I don't know how much more they can clean up.
I don't know what's the price on it. Let me just double check real quick.
How much is Metroid Dread? That's another thing. The price will tell you. Because Nintendo can be Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. Switch version.
Yeah, $60. October 8th. $59.99.
Mm-hmm.
So it's they're selling full price. So it's probably gonna be like,
you know what? I think what happened was it seems like it was a 3DS game. Hold on. 3DS release. Well, I'm just kind of like scanning real quick.
You know how Metroid Dread has been rumored for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was even in the original Metroid Prime because people were looking for a portable Metroid, and there's a computer you can scan, and it says something like Project Dread is not ready yet. You know, so it was always teased. There was a Metroid Dread.
Yeah, I think
it was being worked on.
Just looking at some of the stuff on Wikipedia, it said that they were looking to bring it on on the original DS.
Yeah,
it wasn't powerful enough to kind of capture what they envisioned for the game.
Okay, so they moved. It was always moving. It was always in development.
Yeah, so that's probably why
originally moved from. Yeah, I get it, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I don't know. It definitely doesn't feel $60 from looking at it. But we gotta trust Nintendo's always going to be Nintendo with their pricing. But, is my food here? Oh, he's almost here.
All right. So let's see. Anything else from Nintendo?
Zelda.
Zelda. Okay. So I think last year was the 35th anniversary of Zelda. Or was it this year?
I don't know.
I think they had missed. I think. Anyway, Nintendo's kind of celebrating, I guess, the 35th anniversary of Zelda, and one of the things that I loved the most about it was
Game & Watch.
Game & Watch, and I've predicted
this one looks good. I want to get this one compared to the Mario one.
Yeah, I think this actually looks better because this comes with 3 games. Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Link's Awakening, and I believe Game Boy.
Yes, Link's Awakening is the one, and Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link.
Yeah, Adventures of Link. Thank you. Comes with 3 games, and then one of the Game & Watch remake games of Link.
Yeah, okay.
Everyone's gonna care about. Okay. But I'm like, this is what it needs to be. Like, I think I had mentioned, when I did the review on the Game & Watch, I had mentioned that, I felt it was kind of cheap that they only included Mario 1 and Mario 2.
They should have put all 3.
All 3 Mario or 4.
Wait, how many games? Which Mario is on there?
It has Mario 2, but the Japanese version of Mario 2.
Okay.
So I think they should have put Mario USA, which is Mario 2.
Yeah, they should have put that. And they should have put Mario 3. It's not like it's a space issue.
Exactly. It would have been perfect. To me, I just thought that was kind of baffling that they didn't do that.
Maybe that's why they made it this one better, at least.
Yeah, at least they added at least 3 games. I feel like they could have added something else in there. Maybe like some of the other Game Boy games. But
it's $50, which is not cheap. Not cheap for games that you could play for not $50.
I mean,
it's a collectible. That's what it is.
I mean, it is nice. I would say like having the Mario Game & Watch. It is really nice.
So hold that thought. Pause it or whatever. I'm gonna go get my food.
All right, we'll be right back after these messages.
So, that wasn't recorded.
No, I didn't record that. I'm sorry.
That was like gold.
I know.
That was gold. Tell you, your best stuff comes when you're not recording. Anyway, so what were we talking about? Zelda, the Game & Watch
35th anniversary. 35th anniversary.
So moving from the Game & Watch thing, they didn't announce, but they mentioned more about the Skyward Sword.
Yes.
Skyward Sword is another remaster or remake, not remake, but more of a remaster of the Wii game, which is an interesting game. I think it should definitely be played by Zelda fans if they missed it on the Wii. Because I think a few people missed it.
Yeah, I mean, with the Wii
also, it was also a very not controversial, but it was a very, what's the word?
Controversial because it's still dealing with the amiibo, right? With the fast travel, that it's kind of like
No. It's what's the word when something splits like the fan base or something like that? Not control.
I don't
Anyway,
know.
I can't think of the word right now. I'm so tired. Basically, it was no. The issue with that was there was two issues with Skyward Sword. I thought it was a fantastic Zelda, and it's the last big Zelda. No, I'm sorry, I beat the Link Between Worlds, which was really great. But this was the last 3D Zelda game I played because I didn't beat Breath of the Wild. Oh my god, we'll get to that. But I played a little bit of Breath of the Wild. I want to play more of it, but anyway, Skyward Sword is kind of like the last one where they stuck to the old Zelda formula with some new things added in, but that was people were starting to get tired of that.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why Breath of the Wild is so vastly different. So it had the old Zelda formula. It also had the Wii Motion Plus.
Yeah.
And that was a fiasco with the presentation. Remember when Miyamoto got on and it didn't work? Which was like, are your cell phones on? Please turn them on. Like, no, your shit don't work. That's what's going on. But they ironed out all that. Some people said they didn't like the motion controls. I thought they were fine. You didn't have to necessarily stand up and do full sword flashes. You can kind of do this.
You can kind of do motions.
Yeah,
but I think sometimes
but you could also, if you want, just do it like that too, because it works. I did it. Sometimes if I was feeling it, I'd get up and I'd play like this. But when I wanted to just get through a long dungeon, I just do it like this. So yeah, they're remastering. It looks good, running in 60 frames per second.
And kind of touching on the controls that you mentioned, like with this one, they still retain the Switch version still retains the motion controls that you can use,
right?
And also too, you can use the
regular control scheme. They figured out how to,
and also you can use the control sticks to do the movement as well.
The movement, because a lot of the combat in the game relies on you striking your enemies at specific points using the sword. It's not just it's not that waggling of the other one of Twilight Princess where they made it seem like that, but really you're just hitting a button by going like this.
Man, that marketing really was amazing.
Yeah. This one, it really tracks your movements and stuff.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. The best thing about this one was the story. Actually, the story.
I heard that it kind of told you like the beginning of like the Master Sword and everything.
Yeah,
he said. For me, but I would love to.
I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but it is the beginning of the timeline. This is the first Link and the first Zelda. This is the first time in a Zelda game. It's not really a spoiler, but the character of Zelda feels like a real character with motivation and her own and they don't make her like oh my god, she's a badass or anything like that. But she seems like a very determined character that has a mission that she wants to do, and it's not like Link go save her. She feels like a strong character in this game, and I like that the most. And I like their relationship. They actually kind of have a relationship in a way. It's not just. It's done well. I think that's one of the things that, the story is really good. The gameplay is good. It has some really good boss fights and things like that. But it's not the strongest of the 3D Zeldas. I think Twilight Princess is probably one of the stronger ones in terms of design, although it's a little long. But Ocarina of Time is Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, it's a classic.
I think it's the best game of the world. Yeah. I think I liked it a lot.
I mean, it was my first Zelda game, so I'm a little biased to it. So it's the first Zelda game.
Okay. I never felt the need to play it after I beat it like once or twice, and I never played it.
I was thinking about getting it for the 3DS, but I'm just like, I still have it for
I skipped it. Skipped it. I beat Majora's Mask and never felt the need. But I would replay Skyward Sword maybe just to watch the story again or something. They had that going for it. So that was that. And then the big one, which
Breath of the Wild,
not a reveal, but it was just a game. Yeah.
Hyrule Warriors DLC.
Oh yeah, right. That's the real Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, exactly.
Hyrule Warriors prequel. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. And then the Warriors games.
Zelda has a motorcycle.
Yeah. So Breath of the Wild 2, which they aren't showing the real name. I know it's a sequel, but I don't think it'll be called Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
It might be, but it's definitely not Breath of the Wild 2. They're not going to call it that.
Breath of the Wild, Majora's Mask.
A lot of people are making that kind of comparison where they felt like, oh, it's just the same game, but new stuff in it. And that's kind of what hurt Majora's Mask, which is a really good game, actually. It's dark. Like Majora's Mask.
I feel like the whole timing thing with the whole, like, you got to time it. I think that maybe that kind of turned people off at the time.
It could turn people off, but it made the gameplay exciting. There was nothing like going through a dungeon and being scared that you're not going to finish it in time before these moons crash. And that game had some really cool things. I know a little off topic, but one of the coolest things to do, I thought was cool, was to spoilers. You ever play Majora's Mask?
I played a little bit. I never finished it.
Okay. One of the cool things you can do, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but not that big of a deal, is it's optional. Like you have to go through 4 dungeons, right, in that game to get to the 4 people to hold up the moon, and you can finish the game, whatever.
Yeah.
But you can call them when there's like not 4 of them there, and they'll still come. And it's kind of cool to see them struggle because there'll be 3 and you need 4, but you can call them and they try to hold up the moon with 3. And they're like, you can tell it's just not enough. And like, it's like, oh, the crisis is coming. And then you have to like reset the time period thing. But I just thought that was cool. Like a little thing they threw in there. Like they didn't need
Actually, I did see that before. Cause I think there's a trophy in Smash Brothers Melee with them in there, right?
Yeah, where they're holding up the moon. There's 4 of them.
Yeah, I did get spoiled with that, so I did see.
But
that.
you have to unlock each one at the temples, but you can call them when it's not all of them there, and they still try to do it. And I think that was kind of cool. That game is dark. Like there's terminally ill people and things like that. It's a dark game. It's one of the better ones that don't get played because of the issue that people might see with Breath of the Wild 2, where it's basically the same engine. This Breath of the Wild 2 looks good.
Tell you the truth, it's amazing to see how revolutionary Breath of the Wild was for not only the Zelda franchise.
Did you beat Breath of the Wild, by the way?
No, I did not beat it, but I played a lot of it though. I got you know what happens? When I get stuck in a dungeon, I get so frustrated that I kind of like stop playing.
And that game can get you stuck.
Because it was like the magnet thing, and I was like,
the puzzles are
and they're fun to do, but it was just like frustrating, and I stopped, and I just it's kind of hard for me to kind of get back, but I will get back to it. But just to kind of talk about like Breath of the Wild's like impact in gaming, like you see so many different like Breath of the Wild type games, like what is it called, Immortal Phoenix Rising or something like that by Ubisoft. That's very like Breath of the Wild like. This presentation.
Or Genshin Impact,
Genshin Impact.
Yeah, literally Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, everyone was comparing it. I only saw the videos online where people are just doing it side by side and how it looks. But it's amazing that this Zelda game that came out just kind of revolutionized how people like the games that are being released. Like there was another game that wasn't shown at E3, but it was a open world Pokemon game. Pokemon. It starts with
I know what you're talking about.
Arceus. I'm going to probably pronounce it wrong. So but there was people who showed how it was very similar to Breath of the Wild, with like the kind of like the landscape, how the breadth of the world looked, how wide it was. So it's amazing to see in a short time, Zelda once again influenced so many different games in the industry. So I think Breath of the Wild 2, a lot of eyes are on it to see what can they do next. What's the next big step?
See, here's the thing, and I don't think it's obviously not, to me. It'd be shocking if it was as revolutionary as the first one. But that's what I like about Nintendo, and that's why I always purchase a Nintendo system, even if I don't necessarily enjoy them, is because they I know he's not like creating the game, Shigeru Miyamoto, but I think a lot of them go by his ideologies or something about game design, where it's about making a fun game, but an intuitively fun game. Like that, it should just feel natural a lot of the times, without necessarily saying, "Oh, it's easy." They're not making Dark Souls, but they're making, and so they like listening to some of the designs about the original Breath of the Wild, which they said what they did was there's an you can't play it. It's only in Nintendo. But remember, they said they made a 2D original style Zelda game, like that looks like the Nintendo one. And that was the basis for Breath of the Wild in terms of being able to explore everywhere you want to go with certain limits. So this 2D Zelda game was kind of like a footprint, and they played it in the office, and it, and a lot of times you hear about Nintendo games, how they get created. It's literally from, we were out here, we saw this, and then we made it a thing. And I feel like that's Breath of the Wild in a kind of idea in a nutshell is, you see somewhere, you can go there.
Mm-hmm.
And this time we're not stopping you with items, really. We're going to give you most of what you need from the gun. You just unlock a couple of things, but climb everywhere. You can climb. Mm-hmm. It's the kind of thing where I was climbing in one game, and then the next game I played, I couldn't climb, and I was kind of upset.
I mean,
I just forgot I couldn't do it anymore. It was,
what it is? That freedom is kind of almost therapeutic, and it's like, not only is it therapeutic in some way, it could be a lot of things, but I think it's also too that it also provides a sense of discovery, because you can climb somewhere, there could be a cave or dungeon, another trial. And there's always stuff to collect or pick up, whether it's like, cutting down a tree, making like food, because there's so much stuff the game offers. And you're right, it is kind of overwhelming in a way. It can be overwhelming, but I think once you kind of like get yourself into the system, I think it's all about warming up into the game. And I think Nintendo games do a great job of getting you warmed up with their system, and I think Zelda, Breath of the Wild did that as well, because at one point I was playing that nonstop. I only stopped playing because I got frustrated at a trial, and I know I can go to another trial, but I always hate the feeling that I'm stuck at a trial, and I always try to find a way to beat it. But I think it's awesome to the options that you have to kind of like traverse the world and kind of explore different areas and fight different enemies, and maybe find different items. You're kind of rewarded. I think no matter what you do, if you explore, you look around, you're going to be rewarded in some way.
And that's the thing. I'm a gamer. Mm-hmm. This is my one bigger thing about why I haven't beat Breath of the Wild, is because of that. Right? Mm-hmm. I was one of the people that loved my Zelda the way they had it. Very on track, not very explorable. Not that you could always explore in a Zelda game, but not like in the level of Breath of the Wild. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I kind of like being on a path and being told where to go. They do kind of do that in Zelda, but it's like in Breath of the Wild, but they're like, you get there however you want, whenever you want. This, so when I did this, when I was playing Breath of the Wild, I was like, man, do I have enough armor? I can't even buy this. What happens if I go? It was so much, and some people like having a path, I'm not the biggest explorer guy, so this Zelda completely wasn't. I feel like it wasn't made necessarily for me, the guy that likes classic Zelda, and it's very different. It's not, it's not dungeon. It's like you have to go do these dungeons so that you get stronger and you're able to do more, but it's not like you go to your first dungeon, you get a brand new spanking item, and then more of the world opens up, and that's what I'm used to. And they knew that was running stale. I'm not going to lie and say it wasn't stale. It was that's how every Zelda game up to this point worked. So I think Breath of the Wild was a refresh it needed, but it definitely wasn't what I wanted. Also, it was. I don't know how difficult Breath of the Wild is, but boy, there's a lot of just running around and then running into something that just totally annihilates you.
Well, you mean those ancients, right? Like when you run into those ancients.
Well, those I knew to stay away from, but sometimes there'd be another thing that just, I forgot what I was doing, and something just popped up. Oh, maybe it wasn't ancient, just popped up out of the ground. It was just this big thing, and I just ran from it because I was like, okay, I know I'm not ready to fight this. And there was other times where like I just take a hit and I'm looking like, oh, my health is gone. I'm like, what the hell? Then I have to cook something. I don't want to do all that shit. I just want to get my hearts the regular way. That's me.
I feel like, I feel like there's a game for everyone, and I feel hopefully, even though Breath of the Wild has kind of like taken over the industry because it's so like so much. It's it's its own thing at this point. It has a life of its own.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Nintendo can still do like traditional like links past or type games.
Mm-hmm.
They can still do that. Just like how Metroid Dread is a 2D Metroid game, and
Yeah, they can do
they still have their
traditional.
first person. So, but I think right now is just like the time for this new type of Zelda.
But the thing about I like Breath of the Wild for what it is. To me it shows, and I like the reception it got because to me it shows Nintendo can damn near do what they want and make they can make something new.
And they listen to audiences too. That's important. You listen to the audience, you kind of see what people are feeling, and you're like, you know what, people are kind of against bored of this. All right, let's see what we can do to shake things up.
But they do it organically. They do it in a way where I don't necessarily think it's necessarily just listening. It is listening. Okay,
yeah, it's listening, but it's not like it's not following trends though. Like for example,
it's not.
Look at Jak and Daxter. Remember the Jak and Daxter one was like a platformy, kind of like Super Mario 64, and then when
and then 2 was like more, and it got more edgy.
And that was more like following trends because not to say it was a bad game, but that's following a trend. I think Breath of the Wild was like, okay, what can we do to like have a Zelda game, but breathe some life into it so that it feels fresh, new, and it's fun to explore.
I think I got a better comparison in terms of it. Well, let me not say better, a different. This is what I mean when they listen to fans. I think the way they would do it is they say, okay, the chief thing we got about Zelda now is Zelda is getting a little stale in its presentation and the way it is. So I think literally they say, okay, Zelda is stale. They put it on their wall, and then they expand from there. Other companies, Call of Duty to me is a great example of a company that listens but gets it wrong at the same time. Where, oh my God, what was it? Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. This is when Call of Duty went to space, and people are like, "This is getting ridiculous." So what's the next Call of Duty after that? World War II. And so to me, that's like, okay, it's still the same shit though. The setting is different. So that, but they didn't really evolve the game. They didn't really, they're still putting out that yearly team deathmatch. They listen to the fans because they got rid of all the space shit and all the wall running, but didn't do anything to me. They changed the skin of it and said, okay, yeah, we listen. Nintendo did more than just listen. Like I
think that's a little bit different though, because you have to think, with Call of Duty, they're always switching between different studios, right? Every other year, and I think they did get it right again with Call of Duty back in 2018 or 19 when they released Call of Duty. Remake,
that's fair.
They did get back to like what.
But at the same time, they didn't change Call of Duty. They just they tweaked it and stuff. Zelda Breath of the Wild is almost so not. It's a Zelda game with a few things in it because it has Link and it has a Master Sword and it has Zelda in it.
It's different in a lot of its presentation. Like you have weapons that can break. Like and all that. It's like
it's almost a different type of game.
Yeah, you're managing a lot. It's like a lot of management. Like it's like managing different systems in the game, and you have to watch your gauge. You gotta watch. It's not just you're climbing a mountain, but you gotta like increase your stamina. You gotta make sure you have enough stamina to climb to the top if that's what you want to do. Like this, it's like it's.
But you could take the elements of Breath of the Wild. You could strip the Zelda elements and put something else in, and it's still the fantastic.
Of course.
New type of game.
Look at the games.
But Call of Duty, you strip it, it's always that same shit.
Yeah, I think
it doesn't matter how pretty it looks, or Modern Warfare was a nice reboot, but it's still fucking Call of Duty.
At the end of the day,
I'm not saying they could change that.
Two different things, Modern Warfare. Those shooting games. I think, as far as I can see right now, fans like the shooting aspect, and that's like that's what the games are. But I think it's really hard to change something that comes out on a yearly basis.
No, but that's why I'm saying the genius of Nintendo.
But here's the thing though, Nintendo has a lot more time to kind of cultivate and kind of study things, whereas Call of Duty is a machine that needs to kind of be always on the go.
I'll call bullshit on that because I get that Activision is just about the money and stuff, but at the same time, you're saying these studios still have 3 years to develop these games. So if they make one game and that they know their next game is coming out in 3 years. They have 3 years to do something different.
You're talking about
And maybe Activision don't let them.
Sorry, Call of Duty or Nintendo?
Huh?
Are you talking about Call of Duty or Nintendo?
I'm talking about Call of Duty.
They have 3 years.
They have 3 years between the 3 development teams.
Oh, 3 development teams now. I thought it was just
it's
2.
not 2. There's 3. They have 3. They have 2. They get 2 games before they have to release the next one.
Sledgehammer and what else? Treyarch,
Sledgehammer, and Infinity Ward, I think, or whatever it is. So my thing is, and I get to me, Nintendo also has a little bit. It's their property, so they know what they're going to do. I'm sure Activision says a Call of Duty has to have these 3 things in it or these 2 things in it. You got to make it like this. And they probably can't go away from that.
Mm-hmm.
But like Nintendo, to me, when they really get their shit right, they can take because Breath of the Wild to me is a big risk at the same time, creating a Zelda game like that.
Mm-hmm.
But only Nintendo's like one of the few studios that can just do that with a franchise. I mean, Final Fantasy, I don't know.
But Nintendo has a certain polish to their games too. Like there's like a Nintendo.
That's what I mean, though. That's what it's the whole. It's a Nintendo. Like you only gonna get that kind of game on Nintendo.
Yeah, that's true.
And and that's the thing. Like I said, that's why even though I don't play the Switch, I have one because I know at some point they're gonna make games. Their games have a fun that you just can't explain. Mm-hmm. This hasn't even become about E3 anymore. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's about Zelda. But But all right, so kind of like ended with like
bring it back to
E3. There was Cruising Blast. Did you see that?
I saw it. Who cares? I don't care.
It was Cruising USA coming back.
Give me a Mario Kart 9. Where is that?
Yeah. I wonder where that's at. Come on, man. Come on.
They're that's lazy. Okay.
Yeah.
They just said we don't need to create a new Mario Kart. No one played this old one. Let's just bring it over here.
That's technically true. That's what they're looking at. I think that's how they're looking at it. This Mario Kart is the Mario Kart.
No one said it's in development. I heard they said 9 is in development.
Yeah, but I can't imagine they're gonna bring. I mean, I don't know. I personally believe they're gonna continue with the Switch for the next year or 2.
They should bring a Mario Kart to it.
At least definitely.
They don't have no clue how the next system's gonna sell. They're gonna call it Switch U, and it's gonna
honestly,
be
I think they're gonna stay with the Switch. As long as Switch continues selling, I think they should continue. With
give me my next Mario Kart. I refuse to buy Mario Kart 8 because I have it on Wii U, and I'm not gonna buy another copy of it. I refuse to.
How do you feel about WarioWare get together?
Oh my god, I want to get that. Just because I love WarioWare games.
I love his dialogue. I like how they give him dialogue. Like, that's me, Wario.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, the trailer was fun.
I didn't even really see that. I looked at the mini games. I said, it's WarioWare. I've pretty much gotten all the WarioWares except for the DS one because that wasn't that good. I rented it. And, no, I got it. I bought it when it was cheap, and I didn't like it that much.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of them are so good. Oh, I can almost.
It's also multiplayer as well. There's like dual. What is it called?
I almost don't care about that. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, okay. But that's not why I want WarioWare. I never thought I'd play WarioWare with a friend. No, I want to play these little mini games and laugh at it myself and just see the weird things. Like, I don't, it's there. Okay, Super Mario Party.
Yeah,
you saw that? Whatever Legends or whatever it was.
Super Mario Party Superstar, where they just take I guess, the most popular mini games from like.
I'm kind of down for that.
It looks good.
I'm not a big Mario Party guy, but there was always fun to be had with like 4 people playing Mario.
Like a Mario Party, like one day, like it's just like everyone comes.
You have it or whatever. Yeah, I don't mind it. That's a good party game.
I have Super Mario Party, but I wouldn't mind picking up Super Mario Party Superstar.
Pick that one up. Yeah, I would play that. As long as it's like, because they probably sound like they realize, okay, let's get rid of all this other Mario Party stuff that we've done in past games, and
also to the motion control. Maybe they're just tired of that because it's like this one. Yeah, let's just because in the trailer or during the conference they made an emphasis to say that you can use any controller. It's no more like using the just the Joy-Con because I think. When other people
use an N64 controller and do this till we burn something in our hands.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the classic Mario Party experience. Burning your hand.
Quick tangent. They had because of the injuries that people were having with the N64 controller, they actually
sent out gloves.
Gloves.
Free,
they're probably worth a lot
No,
of money.
that cost Nintendo like $30 million or something like that.
Yeah,
That whole
I didn't know people were
fiasco.
doing that. Like, I never thought to do that.
You never play? Oh my god, the first Mario Party, when
Mhm.
those games required you to do this, the best way was to put your palm on and go like this. It was the best way. And my god, it worked. But if you did it too much, you would burn your hand so bad. It would be so red, and your skin would just peel off.
Wow.
But that's
I wasn't that hard part of the
like,
gamer. I don't think I've ever done that.
That's why in Mario Party 2, they like the game stopped having so much of this rotation thing going on. Like they just stopped that. You know, because it was just obviously a lawsuit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that was awesome. I saw it on the news. I still remember that as a kid.
Yeah, the boys, we used to burn our hands. It was bad. And we didn't at the time. I didn't know about because we only rented the game. Nobody had it. Because N64 games were way too expensive.
Yeah, like $70 at the time. $70 in 1997 or 1998. You know,
and now we're like having a fit about games being $70.
Yeah, just getting back to $70. Imagine like that's like almost 150 or something like that. 130.
So let's grade overall E3.
Well, I just want to ask one last game. Shin Megami Tensei 5. Did you see a trailer for that one?
Yeah, I'm not big into the series, so
yeah, I'm not big into the series either, but I did think it was kind of cool. It reminded me kind of like Pokemon a little bit. Like you can
all the Shin Megami Tensei games.
They're like that, right?
They're like that, yeah.
Okay.
You recruit demons, like not aside from the Persona games. Even Persona, you do recruit, I think, things too. But like in these games, you recruit monsters. You can like merge them, and but these games are pretty well received, and I think they're they're a big fan.
Oh yeah,
like I feel
Persona
like
5.
I feel like even as a big RPG guy, I think when you're a gamer, you can only play but so much of a certain series. Like I'm an RPG gamer. There's no way I can play a lot of the good RPGs. You're gonna miss some. And the Shin Megami series is like one franchise I completely missed out on. That and like Altair Iris or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's, it happens. There's only so much you can do, right?
But I mean, eventually I would like to. But it's funny because Shin Megami Tensei 4 was a 3DS game. But it's exclusive to Nintendo. So that's one of their exclusives. So that's kind of interesting. And I think with the burst onto the scene that the biggest Persona has been, it only helps those games anyway. Because people, enough people know they're in the same kind of, they're not the same universe, but they're the same series.
Yeah, so
I'm sure that helps. So,
alrighty. So I guess to kind of wrap things up, what would we rate E3 2021
as a total, or we're going by conference? We don't even know.
I mean, I think as a total. I don't think we have to go by conference. It's a total.
I'll give it a C plus. Maybe a B minus, but C. It's a C. It's a C.
You know what? I think I'm definitely gonna give it a C plus as well. I feel like even though it wasn't a physical area, I just feel like they were still able to bring some excitement to games. Because I still feel excited. I was like, watching, trailers, to kind of see what's going to be released. And, I think, even if it's not a physical thing, like just kind of have like an E3 era or E3 week. Like it's all it is companies
it's cool releasing to see new stuff. Yeah, it's cool to see new stuff come out. But it's like this was not like, there wasn't anything announced that like blew my mind. Oh my god! Either I heard of it before and they finally showed it, or there was nothing that really I said.
And too, another thing too is that a big major player that wasn't part of E3 was Sony. So they
did their thing a week earlier, which we didn't talk about really. Horizon Forbidden West,
exactly,
beautiful, and they had a few things, but like. Yeah, just the fact that Sony's not there anymore, like they know they don't even need to be there.
Yeah,
it's like
I think Nintendo gave E3 a bone because Nintendo could have easily done that direct by themselves, not part of it, and just like whatever. But I think they threw.
They did. They said whatever. We'll just throw. We could do this week or next week. Who cares? Yeah. That's how I feel like they did it. So they said, well, people are looking for news. We might as well just throw it out this week.
And I think they definitely close it out with some strong news.
Of course. You
Yeah,
know,
it was definitely strong. It was definitely in their favor. And but I do like the other games that are coming out. I'm excited to see,
yeah.
like, and Battlefield, Back for Blood, much other
It's
stuff.
I think overall it's the whole. I don't want to say I'm getting like old and I'm like
Hmm.
whatever, but like it's a lot of it's like I mean there are some new things, but a lot of it's like sequelitis. It's just
Yeah,
this
it's
is the next
sequelitis.
version of this game.
But you know what?
This is
One
the
thing I
next
always say
version
too,
of this
like
game.
even though it's a sequel, it's always going to be new to someone else as well. Like that's one thing that you need to learn as you get older. Like, you know, it's a sequel, but it's still something new for somebody because someone new is going to play that game, and that'll be their first game. You know what I mean? Like someone's going to play Back for Blood and not even know anything about Left 4 Dead. You
That's
know?
good for them, but that don't mean shit to me.
Yeah, I know. It's just that we've been
I
playing
just
video
feel
games for
like
so long, so we're going to see like a lot of derivative things and
yeah,
notice
but
that more than
and I
anyone
think
else.
part of I think that's why a game like Undertale or something really resonated so hard with me because it
Mhm.
was just like nothing I ever played. It had its influences from like Earthbound and things,
Yeah.
but and sometimes I'm also dismissive of new games anyway because I don't know them,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, they say,
It's
"Oh,
that
what
little
is this game? I don't
conundrum.
know this game.
What is
What
this
is this?
junk? I don't. What is the medium? What is this other game? I don't care.
What is Just
It's
Dance
just the medium.
2022?"
Thought it was Xbox exclusive, but it got announced for PlayStation, by the way.
Yeah, I thought so too.
So,
Yeah, so I saw that.
um, but basically, yeah, I just feel like it's not okay. It's not Battlefield 6. It's Battlefield 2142. Or whatever.
Hmm.
It's like, okay,
Yeah,
what is this Battlefield? Oh, it has storms.
yeah.
Okay,
I mean, that's just
Far
games,
Cry
man.
6.
It
That
is.
looks great.
It's the
Okay,
nature of the beast. You know what I mean? Like, especially nowadays, like it's just kind of like what is
Breath of
what
the
it is.
Wild 2. They couldn't even come up with another Zelda. It's just a sequel of Breath of the Wild. It's like they don't even do that with Zelda, really.
Yeah.
The-
I mean,
you know what I'm
Zelda sold,
saying?
Breath of the Wild sold so much. I guess they want to kind of, don't
Yeah,
they
I'm
don't want to
sure it'll
rock
be a
that
great
boat.
game. It'll be a great game. They make great stuff. I'm not even trying to knock on any of these developers, but like, it's just like,
I
I don't know,
mean, every once in
fantasy.
a while you'll get something that's really good. Like, I kind of want to talk about this, kind of end it out a little bit. Ghost of Tsushima. I love that. I played that game
Okay,
yesterday,
yeah,
last year,
I'm all for that
and
shit.
that game was
Even
one
though
of
I
my
didn't buy
favorite
it.
games. And even though it's kind of like, are we already halfway through the year? I still want to do a game award show for like games of 2020 that I played, because I would love
Okay.
to kind of like talk about that. Kind of like talk about the games we played in 2020 that were amazing.
Yeah, I
So
think we need to. I'm yawning.
yeah. Okay. So, all
Tired.
right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And if you made it to the end, you guys
This one's
are a
long, man. This
trooper.
one's
So, if you
long.
made it to the end to this part, do yourself a favor, subscribe, like, and comment, just so you can wake yourself up and congratulate yourself for making it to the end of this podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is Steve and Sterl from the 8-bit
We're out of
generation,
here.
and we're at 8BGCast, and we are out.